Violent crime is on a downward trend across the country since a pandemic-era spike. But today, a number of cities are reporting a new rise in violent crime among youth. In many cases, law enforcement says social media played a central role. Stephanie Sy reports from Maricopa County, Arizona, about the challenges of addressing teen violence.
A little over a year ago, Connor Jarnigan's typical suburban teen life took a dark turn.
Until that moment, I didn't think that people had such an evil in their heart to do something like that to somebody.
While waiting in the parking lot of an In-N-Out, Connor said he was confronted by about a dozen teen boys. The leader demanded $20, and Connor resisted.
I've worked for this money. You're not just going to take it from me right here. So I said no until he punched me with brass knuckles. The whole time there's blood just gushing down my head. I was shaking and crying because I really didn't know what was going to happen to me. I didn't even know if I was going to live. It was really scary for me.
The suburb where it happened, outside Phoenix, is what his mom Stephanie described as a bubble, billing itself in recent years as one of the safest cities in America.
We live in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a bedroom community. I never thought that would happen, sending my son, letting him go have a burger with friends at dinner time. Like, I didn't think that would be unsafe.
It turns out the teen who assaulted Connor was part of a group who called itself the Gilbert Goons.
There's videos of him fighting people all over the internet.
The group members were known for posting videos of each other flashing guns, ganging up on teens, and street racing. Examples of teen violence span social media and the country. From Missouri, where a 15-year-old girl attacked another teen, landing her in the ICU, to Stockton, California, where a group of teens filmed the beating and robbing of an 8-year-old. The violence by the Gilbert Goons, which although recorded went unchecked by law enforcement for the better part of a year, culminated in the death of 16-year-old Preston Lord last October. While a group of attackers pummeled him, some teens called 911, while others stood by, recording on their phones.
Why do you have 40 kids with a camera recording violence? I saw a 5-second video of Preston right before they did CPR. And I don't ever want to see a video like that again in Gilbert.
As community grief turned to outrage over the death of Lord, Gilbert Town Council member Chuck Bongiovanni helped set up a subcommittee to address teen violence. At a recent meeting, half the attendants were area high school students.
But just one thing I would say would be like a big deal also while going to these schools is just also teaching like children like accountability, be accountable not only like the police and everything, but just like general like morals.
While moral accountability is called for by some, many others are calling for stronger law enforcement and curfews.
Now with social media, it's creating personas that these kids usually really wouldn't be if they didn't have the social media.
A 30-minute drive from Gilbert, Commander Gabe Lopez says the number of teens murdered in his city last year rose significantly from the year before, as did the number of teens charged with homicides. Lopez is head of the Phoenix Police Department's Violent Crimes Bureau. He points out the scene of a shooting late last year during a particularly violent stretch.
I think a total of 9 victims are what these 2 individuals were charged with. So of the 4 people in the car, 2 were charged with the homicide.
And they were juveniles?
They were juveniles. And again, the victim was 15, the suspects were 17, and then, you had a 10-year-old shot.
Federal statistics show in 2020, homicides committed by juveniles were the highest they'd been in 2 decades.
The fear that I have, and I think it's shared by others in law enforcement, is people are doing or committing crimes so that they can capture it, so they can post it on their social media feed, so they can get street cred, or so that they can get likes.
Youth culture has moved in the direction of celebrity is, the number one value.
Psychologist James Garbarino has spent decades researching adolescent violent behavior.
The cultural immersion in violent imagery is so powerful in the United States. And of course, the rise of social media as a context in which those expressions can be offered is certainly, it's not just limited to 2020 and onward, but it has escalated as well.
Commander Lopez says social media has also changed the landscape of gang violence.
Traditionally, it had always been really focused on the neighborhood that you were from, a group of friends that you typically grew up with. Nowadays, they meet online, they communicate via social media. It's a hybrid mix of different races, different areas of the city. It's complicated as far as trying to police that.
Before Olga Lopez moved to the Phoenix suburbs from California 2 years ago, she made sure it was a safe town where her son Jeremiah could play on a competitive high school football team. But last May, Jeremiah was shot and killed at a fellow student's home in Mesa. He was 18, weeks away from graduating high school.
The teammate who lives in the house, along with the young man that lives across the street, were pointing guns at Jeremiah multiple times and recording it and posting it to Snapchat.
In the video described to her, Lopez says the laser from the guns pointed at Jeremiah shone red dots on his face.
One time Jeremiah says, "Hey, chill." Another time Jeremiah is trying to make light of the situation. A little under 30 minutes later, my son is fatally shot in the back of the head. I vowed that I would show up with the same grit and determination that he did.
Olga got the devastating news on May 7th.
It isn't something that you get over. It definitely isn't something that time heals. And every day is like the first week.
She pours herself into running a nonprofit foundation she set up with her oldest son in Jeremiah's name. While social media may have played a role in both Jeremiah's death and the attack on Conor Jarnigan in Gilbert, it was also what helped pin down the suspects in their cases. Jarnigan helped lead police to his attacker.
They got into his phone and they looked at his chats, and there it was. I hit this guy and he gave me $20.
Conor says a lot of teens have been afraid to report on their peers for fear of retaliation.
Teens need to come forward and stop being in the shadows, stop recording these fights, instead do something about it and make our communities a safer place.
He's doing his part by calling for Arizona state lawmakers to ban brass knuckles for minors. That action is tabled for now.
I'm hoping both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats alike, can come together on this issue.
Conor continues to heal, and part of that, he says, has meant forgiving the teen who attacked him. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Stephanie Tsai in Maricopa County, Arizona.